Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Whoopi speaking. And tonight we will discuss of this replication of the go-to-look, which is trying to get energy out of the flyback spike from an inductor. It is probably also relative to Tin Man rotary transformer. Okay, this is the circuit I will use. You have here the electric entry DC 4.5 volt, which goes to the main inductor. It is a low voltage inductor, main motor coil, then the reed switch, and then the negative. When the reed is open, then the flyback, due to the collapsing magnetic field, will go this way through this diode and in this circuits, which is composed of a high voltage coil and a capacitor. Okay, we see here on the machine. Hopla. This is the main coil, low voltage, 0.5 ohm and 5 millihenry, very low. Okay, this is the rotor here. It is 3-pole all north pole, and this is the second assistant coil. This is this coil here. It is a high voltage coil. Okay, and this high voltage coil can be moved here near or away, because the aim of this experiment for tonight is to control what go-to-look say to us in his video, that says that if you have a low voltage coil and you take the flyback spike of this low voltage coil and you put it in high voltage coil, you can get very good power, and this with a capacitor. This is a 1 microfarad capacitor. Okay, so if it is true, if I put this away and I put the power on this, we are okay that the motor should accelerate something, so, or the torque could go up. All right, so we will try it now. Just to explain to you how it works, this is here the reed switch. Okay, and you see the magnet here. This magnet is closing the magnetic of the reed switch, gives the contact of the low voltage coil, which trigger and will push this magnet on the other side. Okay, and as you can see here on the second coil, the assistant coil, it is not at the same time. You see on the main coil now push, but we are not in the center of the assistant coil. Now we are. It is a small delay. I show you why. I have stopped now the scope to when it was working, and you see what happened. On the blue trace you have the pulse here, and then the strong flyback spike, and then back. Okay, you see the pulse is here and then nothing. And on the yellow trace is the voltage across the assistant coil. You see a very strong high voltage, very large, and then, but you see there is a difference. First the pulse, second the other pulse of the voltage. You can imagine, perhaps if you make a mean, it will be something like this, as a square like this. Okay, so it is almost the same distance, but some delay, and this delay is exactly here. First, second, first, second. Okay, now let's check if there is some power in this second assistant coil. But as you can see here, it is a very, very sharp flyback spike on the blue trace, and it is a very large and very high. If you see here, it is 86 volt on the peak, and 91 volts down on the peak of the flyback. Oh, it is very, very strong. But what is interesting, it is very large here. It is not very narrow as this one. Probably there is some power. Okay, let's go. I put the power on now. It is 4.5 volts. Oh. What happened? Voila, sorry. Okay, and now the power goes slowly down as the acceleration is there. Alright, we wait until everything takes the right speed. We now go on the scope in real time. Okay, you see it. Okay, seems that we are at the right speed now. Okay, no more acceleration. We are here, 115. Okay, 115, 120 milliamps. Okay, now the speed. Okay. Okay, 1296 RPM. Okay. Okay, now we have, you see here the diodes, you see the capacitor, all this is here, and we will now approach it from the rotor. Ooh. We hear clearly an acceleration. What happened here? Oh, we have less amps, much less amps. And the speed seems to be much higher. Let's see how much. We had one. Okay, let's go. Trying not to touch the rotor. Woo! Yes! The power is less and the speed is high. Really interesting. Seems to be that effectively with the system of go-to-look with a high voltage inductor and the capacitor, we can get a real power inside here. And I can say you that I have made some braking with my finger and tested it. This coil here help really, is very, very strong. And if you put some metal on the border here, you feel almost the same power as this one here. Very interesting. And now let's go back to the aim of this experiment. How is it possible that we get this so high voltage here and so wide? This is really interesting. And if you disconnect the capacitor, up, you lose everything. The capacitor is disconnected now. And look at the reed, it is arcing very strong. I put the capacitor on, no more arcing in the reed, and we get back this high voltage. Another test like this. I disconnect the capacitor, I reconnect the capacitor, and when I disconnect the capacitor, the rotor is going slower. You hear this rating, very strong. I connect the capacitor, the speed is coming up. Haha, fantastic. I like this kind of experiment. And okay, you can replicate, no problem. Thank you very much, Go2Look and Brad alias Tinman for the work. and good night at all.